We were joined by Senator Chris Van Hollen. Chris, thanks so much for spending some time with us. Let's start off with what is the latest on gun reform legislation at the national level?
Well, Jeff, it's great to be with you, and thank you for focusing on this urgent matter. We saw the slaughter recently in Buffalo. We saw school kids get gunned down in Texas, and then a hospital in Tulsa. So this is an urgent matter. I hope the Congress can muster the will to pass some common sense gun safety reform, including universal background checks. Common sense that we want to make sure that people who are buying guns don't have criminal records or don't pose a danger to others. I'd also like to see a reinstatement of the ban on semi-automatic assault weapons that was in effect for 10 years. It ended in the early 2000s. But as President Biden said last night, if we can't get that, we should. But if we can't, then we should at least raise the age to 21 for purchasing those kind of weapons. So those are some common sense reforms. Right now, it's unclear whether or not we'll have the votes to do it. This is not a partisan statement. It's a statement of fact. We just don't currently have 10 of the 50 Republican senators that we need for these common sense measures. We're working to try to achieve that as we speak.
What type of actions are taking place on a state level?
Well, at the state level, Maryland has in place some important gun safety laws, and most recently enacted a state law to ban ghost guns and ban the components of ghost guns that people then use to assemble the weapon. These are called ghost guns because there's no way to trace them. There's no serial number if they're used in a crime, and they're more and more used in crimes because they are hard to trace. And so Maryland has moved ahead on that. I am pleased that President Biden has also issued a federal regulation regarding ghost guns. The Maryland law has gone into effect now. The national law won't take effect until August. I do want to point out, Jeff, that the big issue for Maryland, because we have some pretty good gun safety laws, is that we're not an island. And if you look at the ATF data, what you find is that 2/3 of guns used in crime in Baltimore come from out of state. So that our state gun safety laws really can't do anything about that. And over 53% of guns used in crimes in Maryland come from out of state, which makes us actually the state with the highest level of, quote, imported guns used in crimes. And so that's why national action is so important. We're just not an island in Maryland and in Baltimore.
Senator, what can individual citizens do to protect themselves and also to protect their kids?
Well, ultimately, we need to use the democratic process. And if you look at polling, you find that huge majorities of Americans across political parties, Democrats, Republicans, Independents, support, for example, universal background checks. It's got like 90% support. And yet, because of the strong lobby of the gun industry in Washington, we're not able to get that across the finish line, or have not yet to date. So I think, Jeff, the most important thing people can do both in Maryland and around the country is weigh in, let their views be known at the ballot box, and support candidates that support efforts to implement common sense gun safety laws. Again, I want to stress that what we're talking about at the federal level really would actually have no impact on Marylanders per se. Maryland already has a ban on semi-automatic assault weapons. Maryland has already closed the gun show loophole, but we're currently vulnerable and prey to all these guns coming into our state from states that don't have those limitations. And that's why we need the federal legislation.
Senator Van Hollen, thanks so much for the time.
Thank you.